I was turning 25, and my friends decided to throw me a surprise party. They rented a creepy old mansion that looked like it was straight out of a horror movie. I should have known something was up when they blindfolded me and led me inside. As soon as we stepped through the door, the lights flickered and went out. Great, just what I needed on my birthday, a power outage. But my friends were giggling and pulling me further into the house. "Surprise!" they yelled when the lights suddenly came back on. I blinked and looked around. The room was decorated with streamers, balloons, and a big banner that read "Happy Birthday." But something still felt off. Eventually the laughter died down, and everyone started whispering. I could hear them talking about the mansion's dark history. Apparently it was built on an ancient burial ground, and the previous owners had all died under mysterious circumstances. I tried to ignore the unease creeping up my spine and focus on the party, but as the night went on, strange things started happening. Doors slammed shut on their own, and the temperature dropped until I could see my breath in front of me. And then the cake arrived. It was a beautiful, 3-tiered masterpiece, with 25 candles flickering on top, but as I leaned in to blow them out, I could have sworn the flames turned green. That's when the screaming started. One by one, my friends began to disappear. I ran from room to room, searching for them, but all I found were empty hallways and locked doors. I was alone in the mansion, with no way out. The candles on the cake had burned down to stubs, and the room was filled with an eerie silence. As I turned to leave, I heard a whisper in my ear. "Happy birthday," it said, and then the lights went out again. So that's the story of my 25th birthday party. If you ever get invited to a surprise party in a creepy old mansion, I suggest you politely decline. Trust me, you don't want to end up like me. I was turning 13, and my parents decided to throw me a big birthday bash at the local mall. They rented out a section of the food court and invited all my friends to come celebrate with me. It was going to be a blast, or so I thought. The party started off great. We were all having fun, eating pizza and playing games, but then things started to take a turn for the worse. I noticed a strange man lurking around the edge of the party. He was tall and skinny, with a creepy smile that sent shivers down my spine. At first I thought I was just being paranoid, but then I saw him slip something into the punch bowl. I tried to warn my friends, but they just laughed and told me I was being silly, so I decided to keep an eye on the man myself. As the party went on, I noticed more and more strange things start to happen. The lights would flicker, and I could have sworn I saw shadows moving in the corners of my vision. And then even the music started to skip and stutter, like it was being controlled by some unseen force. I tried to tell my parents what was happening, but they just told me to relax and enjoy the party. Even so, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very, very wrong. And then, the man made his move. He grabbed me by the arm and dragged me away from the party. I screamed and kicked, but he was too strong. He pulled me into a dark corner of the mall, and that's when I saw the knife in his hand. I don't remember much after that, just flashes of pain and fear, and the sound of my own screams echoing in my ears. But somehow, I managed to break free and run back to the party. My friends and parents were shocked and horrified when they saw the state I was in. The police were obviously called, and thankfully the man was apprehended. But, emotionally, the damage was already done. I was never the same after that day, and I still have nightmares about that party. That includes that strange man and his creepy smile. So, if you ever find yourself at a birthday party that seems a little off, trust your instincts. You never know what kind of horrors might be lurking just out of sight. When I was in my late teens and early 20s, I definitely attended some wild parties. However, nothing could compare to my friend Ashley's 19th birthday party. I arrived at the venue with my friends, all dressed up and ready to celebrate. The atmosphere was lively, with music playing and people dancing. I was having a great time, sipping on my drink and chatting with my friends, but then something strange happened. The lights flickered and the music stopped. The room went quiet, and everyone looked around in confusion. That's when I saw him, a tall, shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. He was staring directly at me, his eyes cold and unfeeling. I tried to look away, but for some reason I couldn't. It was as if his gaze had me trapped. My friends noticed my distress and asked if I was okay, but their voices seemed distant somehow, as if they were underwater. The figure began to move towards me, and I felt a chill run down my spine. I tried to move, to run or do anything, but my body wouldn't respond. It was as if I was paralyzed. The person stopped right in front of me, and I could see his face clearly now. It was gaunt and pale, with dark circles under his eyes. He reached out a hand towards me, and I felt a cold sensation on my arm. I screamed, at least I tried to, but no sound came out. The room was spinning now, and I felt like I was going to be sick. I could see my friends trying to reach me, but they were being held back by some invisible force. The last thing I remember was the figure leaning in close, his breath cold on my face, and then everything went black. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. My friends were there, looking worried. They told me I had fainted at the party, and they'd called an ambulance, but I really knew the truth. That figure had taken something from me that night, a piece of my soul perhaps, but whatever it was, I knew that I would never be the same. This happened at the birthday party of one of my friends when we were in our early 20s, and to this day, I still have no complete explanation for what happened. We were celebrating at a bar, and through the haze of cheap beer and the cacophony of off-key singing, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. The flickering lights, the eerie silence that would occasionally fall over the room, and the unsettling glances from the other guests were all too much. But it was actually the host, my best friend, who seemed most out of place. He was always the life of the party, but tonight he was oddly quiet, almost vacant. As the night wore on, the atmosphere grew even more oppressive. The shadows seemed to stretch and twist, and the laughter of the guests took on a mocking tone. I tried my best to brush it off as paranoia fueled by too many drinks, but the feeling of dread only intensified. I decided to find my friend and ask him if everything was okay. Slowly I made my way through the crowded room, pushing past guests who seemed to melt into the shadows. Finally I found him, in the kitchen, staring blankly at the flickering light above the sink. "Hey man, are you okay?" I asked, placing a hand on his shoulder. He didn't respond. He didn't even seem to notice my presence. "Hey, snap out of it," I shouted, shaking him. Then that's when he turned to me, his eyes wide and unseeing. "It's too late," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the din of the party. "They're already here." Before I could even ask what he meant, the lights went out. Screams started filling the air as chaos erupted outside. I stumbled blindly through the darkness, trying to find a way out. I could hear the sound of breaking glass and the thud of bodies hitting the floor. Then, just as suddenly as it had gone out, the light returned. I blinked, my eyes adjusting to the sudden brightness. The room was empty, save for a few scattered party decorations and the remnants of the cake. My friend was nowhere to be seen. I stumbled out of the bar, gasping for air. As I looked back, I could see the shadows moving, twisting, and taking shape. They were coming for me. I ran, not daring to look back, not daring to stop. The next morning I woke up in my own bed, the events of the previous night feeling like a distant nightmare. But then as I looked around my room, I noticed something that chilled me to the bone. The shadows seemed to flicker and twist, just like they had done at the party. And on my desk, I saw a single, blood-red candle, the same candle that had been on the cake at the party. I never saw my friend again. The police found no evidence of a party, no evidence of anything out of the ordinary. But I know what I saw, and I know what I felt. The shadows are still watching, waiting, and I know that one day they'll come for me too.